Let's get started.
The truth that sets you free may also tear your life apart.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the find of the century.
Let's see some. I don't hear no sound. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Yeah. Can you Negroes hear me? All right. Can y'all hear music? Y'all can't hear no music though, right? Can you hear music? Having some technical difficulty over here. Yeah, no music. The music just stopped. Okay, good. Fucking asshole. I don't know what's wrong with this bullshit. So we're not gonna worry about that. We're gonna put some. We'll put some of that up under me and roll with that. And see how that go. What's happening? What's happening, y'all? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome to Giraffe Balls. It's been a minute. I feel like it's been forever and a damn day since we have gotten together to parlay and play. I wish I could rap like Snoop. I swear to God I do. But I can't. That is not my gift. Let's see who we got in here. Brother Pappy, Will Kells, YouTube subscriber. Of course, my man Zero, True, Jimmy, Blue Haze, Spark One. All off up in here. Frank White. Oh, yeah, I got video, man. I was going minus video because lately my reception has been funky. And I don't know what part of what has got my shit all foul. As in voice not lining up, all that. Yeah, we finna get into it, y'all. All that. We finna get into all that. Pow. There you go. Here's your uncle. What's that? Oh, that's my bone. That's what that is. What's that? Got the longest intro on YouTube. My lunch break almost. I'm sorry. That's hilarious. All right. I'm sorry, Frank. Oh man, that's funny. Warm for the warm up, right? Right before I just shove it out in the water. You impatient bastards. Okay. Here's what was really supposed to be happening, people. Is that I'm showing up, I do my lives, and I just do whatever. The real shit is the edits, the cuts, where I get back to the shit, where I said some shit that I astonish myself. Y'all know them moments. There's that shit. I gotta cut that shit together. Now, put it where it go. And what else? What else do we throw up? That, and then we throw this up here, and bam, wow! Now we're looking like something. What's that? Today's strain is the tits, baby. And 50-50 mullen. That's what I'm smoking now. Yeah. Well, we got Pappy Friedman is in here on that purple Hawaiian crunch. Ooh, purple Hawaiian crunchy. Okay, never heard of that one. Well, let's get together and blast off, shall we? And let me know if you're new in the room. If you're new in the room, let me know, because I like to smoke to the new people. At least this intro is entertaining and not a lot of philosophical bullshit. Okay, well, thank you. Yes, so smoke them if you got them. Let's go. That's the other thing about a bong. You don't. The smoke is much finer from a bong. It's much finer. Last bit of this purple Urkel. Okay. Well, now, like I said earlier, or like I put in the title of the show, I have no idea what today's show's about. I didn't have nothing really hit me because there's such a okay. We have nuclear destruction, the in our face collapse of the dollar. Make that fly. Yeah. Shape that up for my wife. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. Nigga, Dalai Lama tongue. The Dalai Lama drama. Okay. Okay, we got the Dalai Lama kissing the little boy. I don't need to see that. That's okay. A whole bunch of shit finna be like Dalai Lama tongue coming from me. Whole bunch of shit. That's a surprise, nigga. Like Dalai Lama tongue. Nigga, wow. What a surprise. Dalai Lama tongue. Ooh, you sneaky. Dalai Lama tongue. Like Dalai Lama tongue, it'll take you by surprise. He ain't kissed him, he sucked his tongue. Well, I don't know what kind of boring ass kissing you be doing there, Kels. But nephew, tell you what. Try it. Suck your girl tongue and see what happens. You mess around and have another baby. I don't know what you don't know about that right there, Kels. I'm finna fill your house up with kids. You suck your girl tongue and see what happens. You be a busy man around there. But at any rate, sucking tongues aside, this is what you get for putting human beings on a pedestal. That's what you get. Yeah, you think I'm playing, Kels? Try it. Just try it. Let's tell you, kids, put one on her. Put one on her when she come through the door. Right when she come through the door. Door open. Everybody, you don't give a damn. Just push her up against the door and put that tongue on her. And then suck her tongue. I don't care what her plans was. I'm just telling you. You think from your uncle. Report back to me. Let me know what happened. Anyway. You should kiss your girl like that once a day. You should kiss the shit out of your girl. Like, put one on her every day. Anyway. Okay, well, yeah, I suppose I should explain who the Dalai Lama is in my own words. And I'm gonna give my definition of the Dalai Lama. And then I'm going to go to Wikipedia and get theirs. Okay. My man Zero said he got some intelligence to drop on this one. Shit is deep. Okay. Do you want to type it out or do you want to hold out for when I open the doors up? Who is this Dalai Lama and why is he so important? Okay. The Dalai Lama is a leader of Eastern religion. I'm going to say Buddhism, but we're going to look up exactly what. This music ain't too loud, is it? Let me know if the music's too loud. And a lot of celebrities, a lot of people look to him for guidance and speak super highly of this cat. How's that? Anyway, they speak highly of this dude and his his ways of being and his ways of speaking. And a lot of people try to follow them and his particular tenets, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, let me bring up a picture of dude. And then let me, let me bring up a couple of pictures of dude. And then let's look at what Wikipedia has to say about the Dalai Lama. Now, you may be saying, especially after I break this down, what the fuck does that have to do with me, Jeff Brown? And I'll explain it to you. Check this out. Dalai Lama is a title given by the Tibetan people to the foremost spiritual leader of the Gelug or Yellow Hat school of Tibetan Buddhism, the newest and most dominant of the four major schools of Tibetan Buddhism. The 14th and current Dalai Lama is Tenzin Gyatso, who lives as a refugee in India. Dalai Lama is also considered to be the successor in a line of THOOs who are believed to be incarnations of Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. Okay. Well, I sure stomped through that now, didn't I? Well, this dude that is so highly praised in the East is Jesus here. He Bishop Muckety Muck here. I'm so glad to see that evangelical shit die. These super priests, these super pastors with these mega churches. May we see the last generation of that shit. Goodbye, good riddance. Now, would I myself like a large congregation of people to follow me? To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know. Because of the creep in of bullshit. I really want to respond to this, Kells, but I don't know what it means. Dalai Lama can't fuck a girl, though. He can't have that bullshit. I don't know. Help me out. Sure. They keep it tight, keep it low. Keep it tight, keep it low. Now, what's going to be interesting to see is how the dynamics change with regard to whether they have him step down, how long he get to be is sucking little boys' tongues gonna now be a April ritual, you know. You know, kind of like the ritual of fertility in spring with Ishtar, where you would try to get virgins pregnant in April, so you could sacrifice them and their babies in December, around December 25th. Yeah. Wow. Ain't no stepping down. He in for life. So Blue Haze say some people saying it's his religion. Is that so? I ain't never heard about no sucking no kid tongue and no religion. I ain't never heard I ain't never heard Buddhists saying it or doing it. No Hindus saying it, doing it. Look like he been doing it and we just now seeing it. Oh. Oh no. I mean, if we had a religion over here where you supposed to tongue kiss the women as a minister, I would think about it. I would consider that. But tongue kissing kids, what part of that is? Yeah, I never understood that, Kills. I never understood that. Dollar's about to crash. I ain't worried about no damn llamas. Frank Green. I've been saying it. Who was groomed? Zero. Who was groomed? Dalai Lama, the little boy. Christians sodomize men, women, and children. Look here, True. I will not have you coming in here telling the goddamn truth about Christians like that. No, yeah, but not on Sunday at service. Point taken, brother, but not during Easter service. Oh yeah, Blue Haze, you don't look here. Blue Haze said he looked like he been doing that stuff. Let me tell you something, Blue Haze. I'm gonna put this over with slapping the shit out of your mate in public. I won't say your woman, but I done seen women do this to men. Slapping the shit out your mate in public. That's not some shit. The first time your mate disrespect you is not in public. It just spill out in public. So on some of this, yeah, he been doing that. I just don't when you drop the link, remember 2 movies, 7 Years in Tibet and Golden Child. I've never seen 7 Years in Tibet. I think that's the one with Brad Pitt, but I've seen the Golden Child. Yeah. So I'm just new to this. So I don't really, other than most religion ties back to some physical freak ass shit on some level. I don't This is why I don't subscribe to religion of any sort. Like an organized, we do this together religion. No. No. Can't do it. Can't do it with you. Cannot do it with you. At some point, somebody gonna slip off the edge and suck a little boy tongue. Just say it's coming. You go from really wanting to do good for all mankind to fucking kids. I don't know. There's a path. There's a path. I don't want to be on the path. I don't want to look up and recognize it coming. I don't want to do it. But it just seems like our religion winds back up at pedophilia, all of it. Everybody got a holier than thou story. Little almond buttercups on my week. Everybody got a story about how somebody holy done fucked a little boy. Did you hear about the woman demanding reparations in a Target? Her sister wanted $1,000 refund. No, I have not. Let's put in reparations. Target. See what comes up. A woman demanding reparation at Target gets punched in the face by a security guard. Wowzers. Wow. Okay. I have very mixed emotions about what I just saw. Matter of fact, it's a little hard for me to watch. Because we gonna have a goddamn problem. Somebody gotta die. I'm not gonna see no white man under any circumstances. I'm not gonna see this right here. Okay, so for whatever it might be, dude just took off in her face with a sharp right hand. Plants his foot, sharp right hook. Pow. Look at that. Look at that. Plants his foot. Yeah. Somebody taught him that. You don't just throw a right hand like that. That's a trained right hand. on a woman walking up on you with her hands down. Let's be clear. Now, was she walking up on him antagonistically? Perhaps. But if that was me, and that was a white woman, or an Asian woman, or a Spanish woman, or an Arab woman, or any woman walking up on me with that kind of energy, the last thing I'm gonna do is hit her with my open hand, with my closed hand. There's no way I'm gonna hit a woman like that unless I think my life is in danger. She got a knife. She looked like she about to strike me. Something like that. But I'm not just gonna take off on no woman. Unless, of course, I'm weak enough. And two, I know there will be no retribution at all. We gonna let it slide. This is what we tell the world that it's okay to do to our women. For that, sisters, I apologize. As a black man in America, I have to take my part in the responsibility for your protection narrative. Yeah, let me drop that down. Dear sisters, I'm sorry for your protection narrative being so stomped on that a young white boy feels the freedom to just take off and hit a older sister in the face like that. I got to take a piece of that as a black man, and I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that. That's us. Brothers, that's us. We have to take that. Those of us who wrote the music. Those of us who danced to it, which is y'all, sisters. We all got to take a piece of why that white boy felt that license. That's the biggest deal here. Second biggest deal is why he's going to continue to, because there's going to be absolutely no social recompense. We as black people are not going to divorce every business that uses this security company as security, we should divorce for 1 year. If we find out you use this security company, we're not going to come to your venue. We're not going to use your product. We're not going to fly your airline. We're not going to use your airport for 1 year. Regardless, right now, if we find out right now, it's 1 year. We're not fucking with you as a company. A year from today, if you still not fucking with them, we not fucking with you again forever. That's the problem. We don't drop shit like that. Oh, really? You just gonna hit this sister in the face? You hiring people that do that? Okay, well, we not fucking with you for a year. And find out. Oh, wow. Looks like you guys do security for so-and-so beer company. Okay, well, we're not drinking that beer for a year. Oh, wow. Oh, y'all do this at so-and-so stadium? Okay, we're not going in the stadium. None of us. The players won't play in here. There's nobody going in the stadium for a year. We don't care if you drop your contract with them now. We'll see you in 11 months. How about burn each building till they own till the white boy is brought forth? Well, Frank, why do you only respect violence? I get where you at, brother. I get where you at. But this is how you burn a building down. You choke the money off. You choke the money off. That's the one thing black people ain't done. That would make the most difference. And I mean financial terrorism. We just won't trade with you. Period. For a year. We come back in a year if we find out that you still fucking with them, we'll never fuck with you again. And we smart. We looking to see if you just gonna do a brand and name change. We looking for that. We start doing that. And then you'll see change. But again, this is only pushing us towards the inevitable. Black people are going to get to a point where they ain't going to have no choice but to only deal with each other. They'll have no choice. Because won't nobody fuck with them. There'll be so few of us left at that point. But that's where we're going. You ain't gonna, your black folks ain't gonna, they trying, but it's. Take off on an old Jewish woman like that. I dare you. I dare you. Let an old Jewish woman be coming up on you violent and take up off. Take off on a Jewish woman. Take off on an old Armenian woman. Drop back, plant your foot, and throw your and just catch her coming in. Drop back, plant your foot, and catch her coming in, and follow through like he did. He should have kept his elbow in and his wrist straighter, and that would have been a perfect punch. Somebody taught him that. You don't naturally throw hands like that. That's boxing. I'm going to lead you a certain way and then step and hit you. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. I got a little, not to upset you, G. I'm not sure if it will. But now they're saying the case is closed on Shanquilla Robinson, and now Mexico won't give back the suspect to charge officially. Another example. Well, I feel a few ways about that. A, more than likely, that's because the truth points to somebody Mexican. They don't do their people like you do yours. Sad truth number 2. We ain't gonna do nothing about the part we know. Part of this we know. Part of this we know already. We already know that them girls that she was with lured her down there and beat her to death. Am I wrong about that? Okay. I don't know if this means no, comma, suspects are in America, period. Mexico won't charge them. Or no suspects, as in none, are in America. Help me out. We supposed to handle this. We supposed to handle this. Them little thug ass niggas around the way of where these girls come from is supposed to handle this. That's how that's supposed to go. Because that's exactly how it would go in Chinatown. That's exactly how it would go in Koreatown. That's exactly how it would go in Little Armenia. They not fucking with their people like that. If you Armenian and you lure another Armenian girl out of town as another group of Armenian girls, you're purely on the intent of beating her to death or beating her ass and she wind up dead, you'll be lucky if you see the inside of a prison. you'll thank God if you make it to prison. Because them people not fucking with you. And they ain't fucking around about their people. They don't play that shit like you do. They not willy-nilly like you are. Of course, they haven't been brainwashed like you have. Some people not playing. You said you want to about the Jews. You said you want to about Jewish people. They ain't playing around with their narrative. You're not finna fuck with it. You're not finna fuck with it. You can't. They're not finna let you fuck with just one of them. They're not. That's your shit. They don't do that. So sad. The world stopped for the white girl who went missing in Aruba back then. Oh yeah. Well, bruh. That's also a weakness in war when you think that this is where the cruise missile comes from. My flesh is worth so much more than your flesh. See, the real shit becomes hand-to-hand combat. Mexico didn't drop the ball. Their court has different rules. Yeah. It's about that time. Come your asses on in. There it is. Let's talk about it. How we don't love ourselves enough. Oh, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong, Kels. You let this dollar crash good and hard, and you're going to have it right there around the way. Because there's going to be very few of us. The people who are going to survive have already claned up. The black people that's going to survive have already claned up. What's happening, my man Zero in the house? What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother Jeff?
Hey man, you brought up some pretty interesting points earlier about who is how there's some stuff being left out, and B, the how the boycott was undermined.
All right, so
yeah, go ahead.
So the first thing I want to say, right, is this. We under the delusion that bits and pieces of news, current events are all separate and distinctive situations.
Okay.
When in reality, all this shit is one jumbled clusterfuck of the same old shit that's going on and been going on. You know what I'm saying? It's just different scenarios that, you know, that got people up in arms about different things because it might be affecting them personally in ways that is not affecting others and vice versa, you know. this Dalai Lama shit is deep, right? Because it's what you always been saying with the church about not getting caught up in cults of personality and men, but that's the sickness of human beings, man. Like we gotta have this intermediary that we bow down and kowtow to, and then we get ourselves caught up in positions of when they start doing fucked up shit that we can't say nothing about it, or else we going against, you know, the very image that we invested in. You know what I mean? So this Dalai Lama thing is people don't study, man. They don't read. They don't get into the nooks and crannies of these people that they getting behind. The Dalai Lama always been suspect. This whole thing about him being in exile, running from Tibet, he running from Tibet because he's a war criminal. He's a Nazi war criminal.
Really?
Now, like, study it. It's not nothing I'm making up. You know what I'm saying? Like the Chinese want him in jail and want his head because he's been a long time ally and friend of Nazism. He helped the Nazis and the Japanese plunder China. Remember, China was a victim at one time. China got strong. China was ran over by the Allied powers, who included Japan, the Nazis, and all of the people that was in cahoots with them, including Tibet. So what people don't know is this Dalai Lama is not really a holy man. This is just how they portray him, and they put him forward. The people that invest in him and put money behind him, all these different corporations and if you notice, all these actors get behind him and this and that. All of these are people that are heavily invested in his image because, you know, his image, one, makes a lot of money, and two, brings a lot of people's energy into the worship mode that they can convert into money again. You know what I'm saying? It's very deep, man. This dude always been suspect. So in their type of Buddhism, they supposed to be vegans, right? But he always an excuse. He got sick, and now he's not. He can eat meat, and they allow it. He can do this, and they allow it. He ran from his country while his country is hell. They eating each other, man. I wish I could find the link of this video where they skinning meat off of people's asses in the back of their legs and eating each other over there in Tibet. You know what I'm saying? Because of all of the sanctions and the hell that's going on with them. Because whoa. Yo, it's deep,
Did I just hear you say that the sanctions on Tibet got Tibetans literally eating each other?
The Chinese sanctions, the Chinese, see, the Chinese is over there like fucking them up. You know, see, one of the things that people don't understand is all of this shit that we in today is because what the white man did yesteryear.
Right, okay, yeah.
So it's like China's over there in Tibet, fucking Tibet up. They want to destroy Tibet. They bringing Tibet to his knees. And one of the main things is they want the Dalai Lama. They want to put him in jail. They want to show people that he's not a holy man, that he was a Nazi. He's always been a Nazi, and he was a part of some heinous shit. You get what I'm saying? And so what it is all of these people that are against China, they invested in him and giving him money and putting money into his organizations and converting all these people to Tibetan Lama Buddhism and all of that shit to make him appear to be this like holy pariah, when in all actuality, he just a political pawn. They just using him for politics and always been using him for politics. Now, I brought up two movies. I brought up 7 Years in Tibet, right?
Yeah.
That movie is based off the book that was written by a famous Nazi who was actually the guy that homeschooled and groomed the Dalai Lama. His last name was Herrera. I think it's Heinrich Herrera was his full name, if I got it correct. When
That
we
sounds like
get
a
off
Mexican Nazi. Herrera.
that's his name, Herrera. Heinrich Herrera. You remember all of their names go into Latin. You know, they are
Right.
all of those languages of Latin roots. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, even German. So it's like they're gonna have a lot of different connections. So he actually groomed him from a child on up, and I mean, in all kinds of weirdo shit, occult shit, freaky shit, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? The Tibetan Buddhists have been an intricate part in spreading a lot of the racist theory and the Nazism and all of that. They are actually the teachers, the esoteric teachers to the Nazis. People don't like to hear that shit though, you know, but it's
Say
the
that
facts.
again.
The Tibetan Buddhists are actually, especially in occult circles, they are the esoteric teachers of Nazism. All the shit that the Nazis used to push draws out of Tibetan Buddhism and Hinduism and a lot of different Eastern philosophies, but Tibetan Buddhism was one of the main ones. That's why they share the same symbols, the swastikas and all of that, because they are actually who the Nazis look up to as their ancestral elders and shit. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a huge relationship. This particular Dalai Lama you can do research. You'll see old pictures of him sitting in Nazi Rolls Royces, him with the guy that was training him, all up to this day. Like the guy might have died already, but they even got recent pictures of him walking around with him hand in hand with the same Nazi dude that, you know, that raised him up and groomed him. Now, the Golden Child, one of the things they showed in that movie was, it was a deep thing that they were showing of how they was trying to defile the little Golden Child, who was supposed to be like a image of the Dalai Lama, right? And one of the things was to defile him, he has to consume blood. I don't know if you remember that part where like they pulled the oatmeal back and it was blood in the oatmeal and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, he's no longer holy. If he consumes meat or is defiled or consumes blood or does certain things, he no longer can claim that holy sanctity or that stance of holiness. This Dalai Lama is a fucking meat eater. He ain't been holy for a while. He been defiled and turned out by the Nazis for a long time. So the shit that we seeing is just the shit that he probably do in the dark. You know what I'm saying? And he just got a little bit too comfortable in the light. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
Boom, you know, then they see it. The deepest thing about it is that if you notice about all these cult of personalities, whether you take the Dalai Lama, whether you take the priests, the Catholic priests, whether you take R. Kelly, the parents are condoning the shit. The parents are right there. The average, now think about if this was your child and you was witnessing that shit, you would have got the fuck up out your seat and been like, hell nah.
Right. Oh yeah, service over.
Yeah, service is over. You know, you would have blew it up. But that's the type of a hold they got on our mentalities and shit. Well, not ours, but people that are into this like religious cult. Those are the agents of the Matrix, because they the ones that's allowing, you know, these quote unquote bad guys or these bad players to feed on the people. All of this shit is interconnected. It ain't nothing that you could pull out of the daily news that's not connected to what the Nazis did in World War II to it's all interconnected. You know what I'm saying? And when people start figuring that out and start going into these situations and getting their information correct, then they can free themselves, because then they'll realize that like a boycott is damn near impossible because all of these motherfuckers are all interlocked and chained into one large multinational corporation. Take Budweiser, for instance, right? It might look like that shit is crashing, but all they're gonna do is the main company, the holding company that holds the assets, all they're gonna do is liquidate take all of the shit, take all the money, sell it out, whatever, liquidate everything, take the assets, the money or whatever, and put that shit into a whole nother format that we not realizing is still connected to the multinational, because we about brands. We never know who the multinational is behind the brand. You know what I'm saying? If you go into a candy aisle or a beer aisle, it might be 5 or 6 different types of brands, and you think they are all different, but they are under one company, and then that one company is under another large multinational trust that you barely see anything about unless you play in stocks or unless you're in on it, in on the money making scheme. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why these boycotts and shit don't work, because people don't even know what the fuck going on around them. They've been miseducated. They've been convinced by all kind of advertising and programming, MK Ultra, whatever. All of this shit, advertising, marketing, all of this shit is all tied in to the same common nexus. You can't have a matrix and think that everything is all different, that the dollar is not related to this shit that we seeing with the Dalai Lama. The dollar falling is because of cults of personality. It's because we fucking religious. And that's the reason why they de-dollarizing and they carrying anybody who holds a dollar in their pocket, because you ain't gonna do shit about it. You know what I'm saying? All of this shit is interconnected, and they take your temperature by seeing what you gonna do about A, B, C, and D. And when they see that you ain't gonna do shit,
they turn the heat up a little bit.
Yeah, they turn the heat up. That emboldens them to run game in ways that you're not even realizing, because in your mind you really thinking that it's all unrelated. It ain't shit on the planet Earth that's unrelated.
And it's not even that much of a deep science behavioral move. It's the exact same thing that happens when you go to jail and you let a nigga have your cornbread.
Exactly, the honey bun.
The honey bun, bro. If you need to stay away from honey buns, is what you need to do.
So that's what we're not realizing. It's not all this like deep, oh, black people won't do this, black people won't do that. Nah, it's that the niggas of yesteryear took the fucking honey buns.
Yes. Yes.
And now you was born into bitchhood.
Right. You was born braiding hair and washing drawers.
Exactly. And you think you wasn't, and like people hate to hear that, but until you stand up and show and prove something different, and take a little, and actually, wreak a little havoc and shake up some blood and bone, you know what I'm saying? That's the way it's gonna be.
Right.
That's exactly that's what it is. Like that's why the church and everything you doing is integral, because not only is it exposing, because you couldn't even do shit like you doing maybe like 15, 20, 30 years ago. The whole fucking black community would have been fucking against you as a fucking pariah or devil worshiper or whatever.
Yeah,
by just telling the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Here's one of the reasons I'm co-signing what you're saying, and I want to hear from my man Bruce. You are absolutely right, because the consciousness level, the vibration, the universal vibration of consciousness was not this high 10 years ago. 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Think about where we have come from, not just with political correctness and these hyper fucking sensitive millennials. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the things that you watch on TV and your own conscience won't allow you to sit still with, or how we look at one another. Those of us who have elevated their frequencies, we've elevated to a place where the common man does not vibrate like the common man used to vibrate 30 years ago. What your thoughts, gentlemen?
One thing I will say, and I'm gonna fall back. What you saying about the vibration itself is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
But we gotta not be. We gotta avoid hubris in this way. To understand that we gotta do some serious studying to catch ourselves up with that natural vibration. You know what I'm saying? We got to do some, and not just studying, listening, you know, like listening to shit that we just didn't know, getting ourselves informed about things that we didn't know, because with that knowledge, we will make totally different moves. But in ignorance, we do a lot of ignorant shit that's against ourselves, because we just thinking that like something about religion has us feeling that it's all going to take care of itself. You know, or God gonna take care of it. And it's kind of a 50-50 thing. That's why God gave us hands to manifest. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta be in on the manifestation a lot more than we are, and not just sitting out waiting for the shit to, if we want to be here. Some of us, you know, we just don't give a fuck and we don't want to be here. We don't want continuity. We just want it to end. And okay, in that sense, God will take care of it, but you know, you not gonna be in the continuity, you know what I'm saying, that's going to exist in the hereafter, you know. But if you want to be in the continuity, we gotta take a little bit more hands-on approach with the shit and investment, and not in anybody else, but just in ourselves and in our awareness of what the fuck is going on around us. Because if we figure it out with just 1, 2, 3 current events, we'll start seeing a pattern, and we'll be able to look and discern shit a lot more quicker, you know what I'm saying, than what we are doing right now. But I'm gonna fall back.
It's all hope everybody enjoying their day.
Yeah, man. What's going on in mind?
Basically, I mean, I don't disagree with nothing y'all saying. And as a recent retiree from the society, it's it's definitely easy to see. Like when I watched the video, I seen a piece of it, and I just seen the dude kissing the dude, so I just hurried up and got off, and I didn't pay no attention to it till you just showed it. And I was like, oh, that's a kid. So I just looked around, nobody else cared, so I was like, oh, it's Tuesday over there, wherever the fuck they at.
Right.
It's Tuesday. They don't care. I don't give a fuck about what they got going on. Who cares? They ain't my religion. Shit ain't got nothing to do with me. And y'all like it. So, shit. Ain't nobody jump up, knock the shit out you. The kid didn't act like he had a problem with it.
Yeah, he didn't jump back.
Yeah, nothing. There wasn't no out request or nothing. It's like, if you a Catholic still after you find out they are here fucking boys, then stop acting like you got a problem with it. Like, who you pretending for, me? You ain't pretending for me. You still out here praying to Jesus when God didn't told you you didn't read the instructions of God, but you still praying to Jesus like God didn't say he was a jealous God. All right, well then, do what you want to do. What do you want me to do about, I don't even, at this point, I don't even care. Have you heard of Mr. Freeman?
No,
Either one of you?
Which one? Which one?
The cartoon.
No.
Nah.
Okay. So I don't know if you can, but if you can look it up, it's The Matrix Explained, and the one you're looking for, it's Matrix Explained, and then you put in FAUX, and it's a slightly quick. It's about 6 minutes, but it's dope as shit when they explain the Matrix. How he explains exactly what Zero was just explaining. How it's all interconnected.
Oh, I've seen this cartoon before.
That guy, I don't know if you've seen that one, because it's like 64 of that guy.
Right, of
but
this
if you
guy,
seen,
okay.
Yes. But when you play, if I don't know if you feel like it, but if you play this one, it explains everything y'all saying, everything we already know, and it's just, well, how do you get out of it? And you don't until you decide you getting out of it.
I've seen this cartoon before, The Matrix Explained Part 1. Well, I can tell you when you really run across some shit that's saying some shit on YouTube. It don't have no commercials.
That one don't. The one if it's 6
no
minutes.
Commercials.
The 6-minute version don't have no. It's like 6 minutes and 20 something seconds, and it runs through all 3 versions of the explanation. So there's a version for the businessmen. There's a version for the people that think they're a little bit ahead. There's a version for it. It has a version for everybody that thinks they're going to jump into the system and change the system. Good luck with that. Good luck with all of it.
Here it is.
Like this.
Right.
Okay.
Remain a pawn until you play. The rules are clear. Take what they give you, give away what you have to, and the difference is yours. The question is, how big is the difference?
Are you really intending to win?
Well, why not? There are lots like me, and we're the actual players. Because on one side of us are the real cattle who let TV do the thinking for them, while on the other is power who believe that we are shit and people like cattle. Over in the barn, they want us to take care of them. But a long time ago, they gave up on themselves, and now they won't lift a single finger. While those who have real power became more than the rest. Became gods. They sit so high up that they can't see us as either a serious enemy or a trusted friend. They have only one problem, that they're not immortal. That just leaves you and me. Sometimes I benefit you, other times you me. Everyone plays a game of their own.
Think you're a player, do you?
I play like the great ones. Take the authorities. Quite unceremonious, but they do have a few lively plays up their sleeves for the people. Every couple of months, they let them blow off steam. Elections, Black Friday, a new auto plant, the latest installment of Star Wars, the Super Bowl. And the people just gobble it up. But when people have holes in their pockets and nothing to eat, who's responsible for that? So now, without their beer and football, they need a sacrifice. And you can be certain that power will provide them with a patsy. And it'll be us. Understand? So that is the game. Here are people who don't care about themselves, and here's authority that doesn't care about them either. And here we are in the middle, who sort of owe something, but what and to whom? It's not clear.
How pure and simple. You're more naive than you look. But you're right in that we are like butter that is spread between a thin layer of caviar and moldy bread. Which reminds me of a fairy tale. We are like butter that is spread between a thin layer of caviar and moldy bread. Which reminds me of a fairy tale. Once there lived a poor wolf, and nearby lived a very powerful and rich fox. They grow up together, were in the same class at school, but now they're in different social classes. The fox's life was like a fairy tale. One day the wolf came to him and said, "Teach me to do it. I'm tired of my life and I want to play with the big boys. I want to live like you. Tell me what to do." The fox answered, "Don't sweat it. I'll fix up a place for you. You'll have a cushy job. You'll sit in a chair, quietly catch fish. By the rules. Don't fuss. Take a lot here, a little there. Anything will do." So the wolf nervously looked around and saw that everyone was doing the same thing. And soon it was all working. He caught big fish and little ones. One day the fox came to get his share of fish, but the wolf said to him, "Sorry, brother, this fish is stuck to my tail." So the fox went and unstuck it. He cut the wolf's tail off and unstuck the fish. Good thing the wolf wasn't using his for bait. That's what happens when you play by someone else's rules. That's what happens when you play by someone else's rules.
Why are you telling me your tale's here? If you're so smart, then maybe you know a way out.
The way out, my colleague, is through the entrance. It's time to get out of this game. Look, yeah, we have money, and what good does it do? There is nothing for us to do in this country. The number of alcoholics and morons is larger than the whole population. It's all polluted, education doesn't exist, and that new auto plant? It's not real. There's no other way than to leave and wipe this nightmare from our brains.
To leave? And who's going to let you do this? You'll never forget this nightmare because it won't ever let you wake up. We do have money. But whose money is it? Is it yours, really? Can you actually spend it? Or offshore it? Can you legalize it? Give it to your children? Don't lie to yourself. Don't be like the others. You're in a trap, and the trap will only open its jaws once you are good and deceased. We can buy our way out of a criminal suit, maybe a nice mansion, a few cars, expensive tutors for the kids, but that's about it. See, you're like a hamster on a wheel, no freedom to be seen while the system rolls right on. Why don't I tell you a fairy tale, my special friend? Once there lived a smart guy like you. He found a job, settled in, and slowly rolled along with his life. Then he looked around and rolled a bit faster. He was allocated a budget and he administered it wisely, and by the rules, he got his cut. You know what I mean? Why would you ever build a fence for $1 million when it can be done for so much more? So he rolled on like this. The books looked good. Sometimes they didn't quite balance, but mostly it was a well-oiled machine. He'd give a taste to get off in court, give a taste to avoid an audit, he'd give a taste to whomever caught him and get away. But came the day he decided, enough. I've made enough for myself and my kids. No more risk. Everything can change. I'm leaving the game. Quietly. I need to move my money out and leave. I got away from grandma. I got away from grandpa. I got away from the traffic cop, the prosecutor, and the tax police. And I can get away from you, Mr. Fox.
And what?
What? Just letting him go would have been a total loss for the Fox. Nobody leaves. The Fox hates feisty people. To those who want to leave, he gives a very tough time. Bounces them from the tax police to the DA to court, bleeds them dry and tosses them in jail. You asked for it, gingerbread man. Why are you silent? Hello? Are you even here?
Leave him alone. He looks like he's asleep. What can I say? You seem to be making some good points, so I didn't chime in. So what do you want? To win or not to lose?
Not to lose.
It doesn't matter. How is it possible to win or lose in a game where the rules are constantly changing but are never changed by you? I want to tell you a story too. There once was a I want to tell you a story too. There once was a turnip that grew very, very big. They started tugging it in different directions, but just couldn't pull it out. The turnip creaks, but it won't come out. Then one smartass said, why don't we just grab the turnip together and pull it in the same direction? They grabbed it, pulled really hard, and pulled out the turnip. It shined gloriously like the sun, so beautiful, so smooth. When the turnip was just sitting there, no one got anything at all. But after it was pulled, everyone had enough. There is one way alone for us to agree amongst ourselves, to finally write some rules ourselves. And that's when it will start. Our game.
Bam.
Yep.
That's it in a nutshell. I had never really watched the whole thing, but I can see where, from what I understand, it's a Russian cartoon. So some could see it perhaps as anti-American propaganda if you could make your mind narrow enough to only see that as an American problem.
You know what's deep about this shit? It's that a lot of shit, because we, as veterans, it's a lot of shit that we have been programmed into as Americans. It's that is really long gone. A lot of ideologies, a lot of things that we feel are in play, but they've shown us that it's been long gone. When you look at how the VA's been carrying us for years and fucking us over. When I was stationed in Iraq, they used to do, I'll tell you some fucked up shit they used to do, right? We had casinos in the front.
Okay.
So motherfuckers would get their checks and shit and go blow it in the casinos, having families back home that needed shit. You understand?
Okay.
But Halliburton, which was the company that put the casinos on the front, actually had like slot machines and like these little mini games, all sponsored by USO and all of that type of shit, right on the front, knowing that, you know, a stressed out man, he gonna go try to have his hand at chance. So, you know,
Right.
exactly what this cartoon is saying. It's like they've been gaming us for so long that, you know, we a fool to even believe that America even still fucking exists as it was relayed to us that it's supposed to exist. I would venture to say it's been long gone for a long time.
What
know?
would you say? What would you say signaled the end of the America you once knew?
I would say this. What signaled it to me was when they started easily giving up shit that they wasn't trying to give us. You know what I'm saying? When they you know what I mean? When they started easily giving us access to shit, as far as like quote unquote minorities or people of color or whatever, when they started allowing us to access the shit that the common quote unquote middle class or the common, you know,
Lower to upper middle.
Yeah, wealthy person could access, that's when you knew it was over, because there's no longer value in it. That's why they was giving it to us. That's how they always do. They give up the shit when there's no more value in it for them. So what that led me to start doing is I started looking at what is it that they're valuing now. And I started seeing weird shit. I started seeing motherfuckers buying closed down military bases, buying I'm just talking about, like, you know, rich folks, the shit that they was investing in on the side, like underground bunkers and shit. Like a lot of that shit. I was in Maryland and DC at the time, that surrounding in those areas and shit. People was just buying that shit up like it was nothing. I was in the real estate game at the time, so, you know, I was able to kind of like see different trends, and the shit just was like wow to me, you know, like to look at what it is that they was investing in. Another thing they would invest in was by this time I moved to Georgia in the Florida area. They was investing in complexes, like fucking 60, 50, 100 acre complexes with warehouses and shit on it, and running these scenarios that they was calling zombie apocalypse. That was a big thing with the rich. I'm talking about multi-generational rich white folks,
right,
that lived in Georgia, Florida, and the South, man. And I found the shit interesting. I participated in a lot of them and shit, like dope shit. I'm talking about like they have vehicles, all kind of shit. You can blow up shit with 50 calibers, all kind of wild shit that they had going on. And it was like soccer moms and shit like that participating, you know what I'm saying, in this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This was, I would say these are things that I was catching on to in like maybe early 2000s, and I was late. So it's been done for a long time, man. They've been, you know, because they've been selling us out. The shit that we believed in as a populace, they've been selling us out on the banking, all of that, man. Honestly, this shit could have been done when we had the first savings and loans crashes. When you really think about it, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I feel like once I like, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you good, bro.
If they both are on the same bird, the left and the right wing is on the same damn bird, where's the bird going? If China owns a bunch of our assets and a bunch of our debt, and you got people consistently, like if all of our workforce is overseas, if all of our jobs are our warehouse jobs got moved, and they go, oh, it's regulations because of this side. Well, I mean, some of that side had to approve it too. Both sides have to approve it because y'all didn't. When it was vice versa, y'all didn't change it when y'all could have. So the jobs left, and the market just get bad, and I'm just watching prices of everything go up. My whole life, I can't go to the store and get a bag of chips for 25 cents no more, and little stuff like that. And you hear about the older folks talking about how stuff used to be a nickel, but then I'll get in the workforce and I make the same amount my dad used to make my first day. Little stuff like that made me go, well, hold on. And then I'm watching, I'm watching it like y'all not. So it's not gonna never get no better. And then I start asking older people, like, all right, so when they do this and they say they're gonna do that, have they ever done that for you? And they be like, what you mean? Well, when the government takes away a right temporarily, or they say this depression is temporary, or any version of this temporary for them, we only go do this overseas, and then it comes over here. Is it ever what they say it is? And all the elders that I've ever spoken to, whether I knew them well or not, always went, no. If they say they're going to do it just to China, if they go, or we only spying on China, believe they're going to be spying on you. If they deploy military somewhere, and they just, oh, that was a special occasion, that's why we did that, believe they'll do it to you. When they did 9/11, not 9/11, it was the bombing, the Boston Marathon bombing. They never talked about how they locked Boston down and told everybody to stay in their house, and then went house to house looking for the dude. Now, they never talk about that.
They was people from Boston would tell you they was fucking people up behind that shit. Like I mean, bad. You know, like it was big payouts from people suing because motherfuckers was just running up in their spot and beating the shit out of them and shit because they ain't know. I'm talking about the police. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't know who to what. So you absolutely right, bro.
But they never. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying now we got this shit that's deep. Like when you watch the trends, right? America has to outsource its military prowess. So like that's why we have been having all of the bullshit that we've been seeing with Ukraine, or where they've been trying to like work through NATO to do it, and even the same shit where they putting an invasion force together to run into Haiti to get those precious metals and shit that they just found in the mountains over there and shit like that, you know, to lock that shit down. So it's deep. So now they trying to get Canada. The United States is asking Canada to do the dirty work in Haiti for them now. Because they've been mounting up for the last 6 months and haven't been able to get the money together like they need to get it together to run up in there like they want to run up in there. So Biden just begged the what's the little gay dude that runs Canada? I can't remember his name.
I know not Zelensky, but he one of them type of people. Everything he say be a lie.
That little dude and shit, like they trying to get them to run up into Haiti and lock Haiti down and shit so that they can get those precious materials and utilize that shit to fund shit that they doing. So you gotta watch the money. You know, the money is deep. You know, the money is very deep. Like they'll tell you that they this and that, they strong, they can do this and that, but when the money is telling a different story, you know they lying. So half of us, we be 50-50. We straddle the fence because part the way we believe in all that strength and we be, you know, we pump ourselves up on that strength like it's real. And then on the other end, we know it's just total bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it's you right, bro. This shit is just, it ain't going nowhere.
It's been the pattern. They've been consistently, it'd be one thing if I knew a good thing that I could say helped the people move forward and staying in America. But everything that I've ever heard from anybody on the ground that felt like telling the truth. I mean, because that got you in trouble. Anytime telling the truth gets you in trouble, you hiding something. I knew that as a kid. That first whooping I got for if you tell the truth, you won't get in trouble. And then I told the truth and got in trouble. I was like, hey, something ain't right here. So when they do it, it be the same but worse. You can get in trouble for telling us that they spying on us, and now you got to run, even though it's illegal for them to be doing what they doing, but they doing it, and nobody's gonna go to prison.
Hiding Russian shit and run from them. Yeah, exactly.
But it's illegal when you tell on them. But if they tell on you, it's cool. Even though how they got the information was illegal, you got to fight it, and ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm like, all right, well, if our law isn't made to be morally right, it's just law, then who does it work for? Well, it don't work for us then.
Nope. And one thing I like to tell my people from California, and let me say this, I tell my people from certain FEMA zones when we have a specific type of talk, I say study the FEMA zones, right? And the worst FEMA zone is the FEMA zone that the people that's living in California are existing in and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you really have no fallbacks. You really have no ground to run to. You know what I'm saying? The way that shit is laid out, the way the military bases and things like that are strategically laid out, because that's the Pacific Fleet that's ran out of that coast. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like that shit has been on a certain level of lockdown for a long time. That's going to be very, very, very hard for you to work against. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, and if it comes to you running, if it comes to you fighting, you know, it's already shit out there that's set up to kind of
you already boxed in.
Yeah, box you in and annihilate you in a bad way. You know, some of the other FEMA zones are a little bit weaker. You know what I'm saying? But that shit right there is a motherfucker.
Well, see, I noticed that even y'all tell me if I'm wrong, because I tripped out the first time somebody told me they was going to the military, but they was going all the way across the country. I was like, and I used to get on the bus a lot, and you be on the bus with people that come back from Afghanistan, and they be like, yeah, they shipped me to North Carolina to do training, and that's where my base is, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, wait, if you from here, why are you going way to Texas or North Carolina and Virginia and all of that to go to the base? And in my head clicked, it said, well, if the government calls you on some people, it's a lot harder to go home and tell people in your neighborhood that the government said do what we say or we gonna shoot you. But if you from California and you all the way in North Carolina, you don't really care that much. You'll just go ahead and do it.
You partially right on that though. You like, cause it's a half and half thing, because part of it is that the specialties are sprinkled out for whatever their specialty is. There's only been up to a certain amount of time, certain spaces that you could go to for that training. So if they were shipping them to, let's say, North Carolina, like if you was a Marine infantry recon Marine, right? You would have to go do shit in certain areas until they built another school, and now they have it on both coasts. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, now recon Marines are getting trained in the School of Infantry West, as well as the School of Infantry East. You know what I'm saying? This is like some new shit that they built, but when you used to see them dispersing them all throughout the country, is because whatever they was training for was only available in, you know, people in the military know what I'm talking about. It was only available in specific areas of the country, you know what I'm saying? So like, but I seen what you talking about big time with police and National Guard units and shit like that, where like they have them serving in places that they not familiar with, you know what I'm saying? Just so that they don't have that type of connection. And it's actually inside, it's in the doctrine. you know, where you know they don't want people that'll what's the word? I can't remember what the phrase is that they use.
Assimilate, get
Yes,
comfortable
go against
with,
their orders, go against their orders or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
and putting
So,
you in familiar areas
yeah,
makes
exactly.
that more possible to happen. That's why, like East Coast, West Coast, overseas. That's what those are usually in the Marines. Your three designated choices of duty station should you get it. I put West Coast last because that's where I wanted to go. I put East Coast first and overseas second. And I knew they wasn't going to give me, if I'd have put West Coast as the beginning, they think I'm chasing a girlfriend. Yeah. You got family out there. It's distractions there that are familiar to you that we can't control. It's the same shit.
It's the same shit. My dumb ass said recon, and they put me exactly where the fuck my dumb ass said.
Hey, what you want? Paint your face up. Let's go. Yeah, man. So,
but yo, man, it's those are the things that I just tell people. You know, I like to share. I share like extensive libraries, survival libraries. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can, you know, get up with me. You know what I'm saying? I'll put the link inside the chat, man, and all types of books, unprinted books and things that you can get that I can send you digitally that might, you know what I'm saying, be able to help you prepare and shit. You know what I'm saying? Free of charge. You know what I'm saying? Shit that has helped me. But I mean, I don't know what to tell people, but to put yourself in a strategic position to survive. And out of everything, just think about your women, because just like you seen this little regular motherfucker punching a woman in the face, this is a motherfucker that don't even got no juice, no clout. You know what I'm saying? No tabs, so to speak, on his chest. He just a regular security guard. Imagine when they start putting, you know what I'm saying, motherfuckers that don't give a fuck and that got a little bit of clout and shit on their chest, what they gonna be doing to your families.
Right. That dude that got bullied in gym class.
You know what I'm saying? So like, just put yourself in positions where there's a lot of food, woods, and survival possibilities. And another thing I like to tell brothers is, man, get your women folk ready, man, because it's a saying that I always say. I say it at what's the brothers that on Monday, No Man Mondays, right? I said this phrase, man, what I used to tell motherfuckers is like, always remember who the first house Negro was. It's not their fault, but people who are used to being catered with comfort will turn on your ass in a second when they uncomfortable and shit, and not even mean to turn on your ass. I seen it in warfare. That's women and children. We used to roll up on children, giving them candy to tell all kinds of shit and kill their uncles the next week.
Right.
You understand? Right. So I'm just telling you about real shit that I've experienced and seen in the way we roll. Now is the time to get your people engaged, to start having those. I'm not saying hey baby, be military on your woman and just go fucking full metal jacket on them, but you got to start having conversations where you start asking them questions to get their mind prepared, to get yourselves in sync about things on what you should do and how we should carry shit out if shit should hit the fan and shit like that. Because if you're not doing that right now, you're gonna be heartbroken, man.
Well,
because,
I've been telling people,
I
tried to tell people that when they got that pandemic money, so a lot of people don't even know that a bunch of states and counties got millions and millions of dollars for relief that was supposed to come to the citizens or whatever. That's what they was told. But somehow that money got funneled straight to your police departments.
Oh yeah.
And they went to buying all kind of wild shit with that money.
Oh hell yeah.
So when I got the little list of the couple of police departments around me that got some shit, and I mean it'd be like 1,000 people in the city, and they went and bought a Bearcat and 6 drones. Like the fuck? But it's so what the comedian said about it. That was just watching Russell Brand. He goes, yeah, so when you get mad and want to resist that y'all gotta get locked down and stay in the house, your answer from the government gonna be Bearcat. It's not gonna be no negotiation for your ass next time. The next time they tell you to lock down and y'all wanna go spend some donuts or go see that girl in the middle of the night when we told your ass to stay in the house, good luck. Y'all gonna be answered with full force. It ain't gonna have no choice this time. It ain't gonna be no sheriffs acting like, okay, we got your back. We not gonna enforce this order. I don't care what they say. It ain't gonna be that. That dude gonna be fired and ain't gonna be replaced with a fucking nerd that be like, I hate everybody because I didn't get no pussy, so everybody stay in the house. That guy's gonna be running the shit.
And you know what's gonna even be deeper. Mark my words, guarantee this is gonna happen and shit. So you seeing like these distraught transsexuals shooting up schools and blowing up shit. Guaranteed that they're about to have a program, a military specific program that caters to them. Guaranteed. You understand? And when they put them motherfuckers on the street, you can hang it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about in large masses, because there's already some you know what I'm saying, out there. And most times you'll find that they some of the worst motherfuckers to get engaged with on the police force and shit.
Now, who are these people again?
The transsexual community. Guaranteed, mark my words. And the reason why I know this shit is to be fact is because they working from the Nazi playbook. Everything they doing is what was already put out in history. With all of this shit of where they trying to cater to them, I guarantee you that there's going to be specific military units that is all them. And police units, that's all them. And they're going to be some of the craziest, most off the chain motherfuckers that you going to have experiences with.
Fuck just them. Have y'all watched the first Purge? The one where they show you how they kicked it off? You know, it's like 8 Purge movies, and there's one called The First Purge. Anybody?
It came later, though.
It was the first one I watched.
It was the only one that was focused mostly on black people. They was all black people for the most part.
Okay.
They did it in Coney Island or Staten Island. So I don't know nothing about New York, but apparently Staten Island clearly has the word island in it, so it's secluded. The movie basically kicks off with the people get the NFFA, New Founding Fathers Association, becomes like a political party. They get voted in, and they kick off the purge. Now, when they kicked it off in whatever Method Man's housing project is. I forget what it's called right now, but I know he the one that says it. So they kick it off in his housing project in Staten Island. So Staten Island is the place, but they focus basically on that area.
Yeah.
So they focused on that area, and they focused on that area because they know that black people basically we don't participate in shit like that. We don't kill each other just because y'all told us to. We don't do that. So what they did was, and this is the first time I ever seen some shit like this, they hired Nazis and people from Europe to dress up and come to Staten Island because there wasn't enough killings. So just in case there wasn't, these motherfuckers wouldn't kick shit off. And I tell you, that movie was ill, and I was like, oh, this is okay. So if we don't do it, and then right after that, I ain't gonna get into that whole rest of the movie, but that's basically how it goes. The black people was like, we ain't feeling it, we ain't gonna kill each other just because. And they sent other motherfuckers dressed like black people to kill black people to make it look like everybody, to make it look like everybody was with it. So then that's how they got it nationwide. That was the test. The test was, if we can get this to look right, then we'll get it everywhere. And that's what they did. But right after that, I had seen that they got masks. They got masks and arms, and y'all can look this up.
Oh yeah, the black dude mask and arms.
Yo, as you were saying that shit, that shit was right there in my head, yo. Them prosthetic arms and heads and shit that they use in that.
Yes.
That shit is like deep. That sounds just like what Monster Cody was talking about though, and how they fucked up the first truces though. You know what I'm saying? How like motherfuckers was all working together, and then they was like taking their cars and shit and doing drive-bys on motherfuckers. The police was and
Oh yeah.
and other gang members' cars and shit like that. So you know they with it. You know they about it. You know, so it's some deep
So
shit.
they gonna
Man.
prime the pump.
Yep, because they have to have MDK. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way that they're gonna be able to relieve the economic stress. Is
MDK.
let people. Yep, MDK, murder, death, kill. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes cities the worst place to be when that shit pop off. The worst place to be.
Yep. You gotta get into it. You gotta have a little fallback place. That's another thing that I always kind of liked about the people from Texas and certain places down south. They got a little fallback niches and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That way you can be in Hermitage. You know what I'm saying, for some time and secure that shit. You know.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. Is when you was talking about you was into unincorporated land for a minute. I didn't know what that meant. Like land under nobody else's jurisdiction. I didn't.
So this is what it means, right? Cities are incorporated. Towns, jurisdictions, counties, they're incorporated, right? And they have like rules under that incorporation. And what ends up happening is you end up having to pay a certain amount of taxes and shit like that to have access to the police, fire, school, and all of that. Well, there's areas where there was never no corporation. There was no charters, no nothing. And where all of those public services pretty much fall on you. You know what I'm saying? Like they might send somebody from a nearby incorporated place, but
you ain't got no fire department.
Right. You ain't got no fire department where you are. You don't have no police, but you got land and you got freedom and you got peace and you got low tax base. You know what I'm saying?
You have a low tax base because you don't have an infrastructure to support.
Right. Exactly. So when people go in those areas, they end up running their own decentralized infrastructure, meaning that they got their own. When you go in those places,
whatever goes around here.
Yeah. And honestly, it's a lot more. I'm gonna tell you in my experience.
Yes.
It's way more civilized than the incorporated county experience. You understand? It's more death and more postal and more wild shit and more crazy shit going on at the incorporated county level than it is with people that's out in the unincorporated places. Because
I got a theory on why that is, and I want you
Me
to
too.
pass this around. In a social situation where it's urban, it's far more transient. As in, niggas with bad intentions happen by a lot of different functions. They happen by the mall. They happen by the gas station. They happen by the bank. They happen by your house while you got your garage up working on your Porsche. Whereas in unincorporated areas, ain't that much happening by.
And the people work
and
like
the people that live out there are looking out for each other.
Yeah, they looking out for each other. Like so like I would say, I'm saying, yo, I'm about to put together a damn a pond and I'm gonna stock it with fish. Who's in on it? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we split it up, we do our thing, and whoever invested has access to it, and whoever didn't get met with the shotgun. You get what I'm saying? And then we'll decide from there, is it somebody that we're gonna, give something with or be charitable with, or is it somebody we're gonna send them on their way? Like, it's easier to deal with 9, 10, 11, 20 people than it is whole fucking jurisdictions of thousands of people with fucking different philosophies and different religions and different
right there.
Fucking sexual preferences and
you just
all
said,
of that,
you just said, let me break down what you said about philosophy and change that word to will. You got less wills to deal with. You got less wills clashing that don't have shit to do with you to deal with. You got less people bullshit. Do you know how much easier it is to sit up and commit a crime when it's a 7-Eleven? You can go buy some Slim Jims 2 blocks from here.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. You know what I'm saying?
It's too easy and too transient in a city to keep it peaceful.
Too much going on, too many, what they call it, nooks and crannies and shit. Or where there's no eyes to see shit, to report shit, to let people know, hey, this don't look right. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Well, I have to see you. There is no choice. We all got one place to get food.
Right.
So I have to see you. You know what I'm saying? It's not a trend. It's social familiarity with somebody I got a disagreement with. I know where you stay. I knew when you got here how many people in your family from here, who you fuck with, who you go to church with. I know you know what I'm saying?
I know you. I remember when you got the chicken pox.
Right. My grandma know your grandma, or at least they didn't met. So there's gonna be heavy consequences for playing about whatever we disagreeing about.
And it's not just in I would say like battle scenarios. It's also in a situation of where, like, if a child get lost or some shit like that, and like people know, like, I'm gonna go to him because I know he got a ton of flashlights, he got a ton of shit. I know that, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna come to him.
Hell yeah.
When we come to him, he knows that little boy.
Yeah,
or little girl.
Exactly.
So not only is he gonna got his flashlight, he gonna call his cousin that got them dogs.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
We gonna find this baby tonight.
And we speak a common language and a common culture, because motherfuckers know when they pull up on my van, they see them 6 up, 6 down with the pineapple in it. They deal with me in a different way. You know what I'm saying? If they see that red Marine Corps flag hanging, they're gonna deal with me in a different way than they're gonna deal with a brother they don't know. You know what I'm saying? That look like they might be bringing trouble, through the town. A lot of the shit is racial and a lot of the shit is social. You know what I'm saying? These days it's a lot more social than we would think. You know what I'm saying? Because we get so caught up in, the hurt and the PTSD of how shit was when it's racial. But I find when motherfuckers know who you are, what you about, they don't fuck with you. Libertarians they don't be wanting to be all in your business and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want you all in theirs and shit. So
right.
Those are the biggest difference I've witnessed in unincorporated areas, and I've even been in some shit that's even beyond unincorporated shit, that where, you know what I'm saying, like almost like some semi-mountain man type shit, or where
barely on a map.
Where motherfuckers just like, hey, they know that's where he be at, that's where I be at. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you the different shit that I tracked and seen that might be an oddity when we sitting at the general store, and vice versa and shit like that. And we'll put our heads together and try to figure out what the fuck going on. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a Bigfoot or if it's some, motherfuckers out here, up to no good.
Whatever, but we communicating. We gonna get on the one.
Now,
You know,
question, brother Zero. I don't know if you've heard about this, but your man Reggie Bullock owns an island in Belize, basketball player.
yeah, I know the situation very well. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, speak on that.
All right, so this a tight room, so I can tell y'all the pros and cons. You know, James Prince and them got one too, right?
No, I didn't.
Rap a lot record. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Let-
not
let me-
surprised. Shout out to Jay Prince.
Let me tell you the deal about this shit so that you don't get caught up in the bullshit of it. And ain't no land out here that's worth as much as land that is not landlocked or sea locked. As cool as an island seems it would be, it's really not as valuable as you would think it is in these days and times. One, because of climate change.
Right. Hurricanes are worse.
They're very low value. So what tends to happen is these companies and these organizations and these white folks, a lot of them are actually like old Ku Klux Klan members and shit that had like vacation spots down here in the islands and down in Central America for years. They start selling off assets, their least valuable assets, and believe it or not, islands are some of the most, especially if it's under something like the one he bought was like 5 acres, I believe. That shit is like, that's not very valuable.
Like what would an island in Belize like you're describing run?
Well, they can sell it for a whole bunch of money, but it's not valued at that. They can sell it for 5, 10, 15, 20 million. You know, it ranges. Like they have so much range. I've seen them go.
Yeah.
I've seen a 5-acre island go for $100,000 a couple years ago, and then a couple years later go for $5 million.
Like the cartoon said, you looked around. And why build a fence for 1,000 if you can build it for 10?
The reason,
I'm gonna charge you. You know what I'm saying? I charge you. Get my piece.
the reason why the price range is so drastic is because there's really not a lot of value on that land. One is because you can't get no fresh water without they call it desalinization.
Right.
You have to desalinate
You have
the
to
water.
eat the salt out of the water. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that. So it's like, but what he is doing, because if it's something that he can flip into a lucrative, what he is doing, because I saw the white papers and plans for what he's trying to set up. They're setting up Bullock, I think it's called Bullock Cove. And it's going to be a place where people come, like celebrities and his exclusive friends and stuff, buy and do rentals and stuff like that throughout the year, where I'm sure he'll recover a good amount of his money. But insurance is like, it's just big worries with that shit. It's big risk because you got climate change, hurricanes, all of that type of shit. Insurance is something that is like so fucking hard to get for spaces and places like that unless you've had it in your portfolios for years. So it's like, that's the real about it. But if he's smart, he's gonna turn that over and he's gonna get that money from his peer group and shit like that and make it back, within a couple years. You know what I'm saying? But it's not necessarily what everybody thinks getting these islands. I personally, as a strategic player, I would never fuck with no island. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just knowing what I know about climate change, water levels off the coast of Belize, the disruption that's going on with the currents and the fisheries and stuff like that off the coast. That's like putting yourself in a death trap. You know what I'm saying? And it's like as soon as the logistics break down, you fuck.
You are at the mercy of the elements.
You at the mercy of the elements and shit like that, and it's unless they are out there doing some like heavy permaculture planning and stuff like that, or where they have like huge food surpluses, which most developers don't. They don't get involved with that kind of shit. They just like to put up pretty things and, you know, and shit like that, and that's attractive to people. They never think that far in advance. But if they were doing shit like that, it would be under consideration. But still, then that's a huge investment to get involved with something where we have so many storms and floods and all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like when you buy any land, you gotta really study the GIS mappings to understand the 100-year flood plans on them. And if you look at a 100-year flood plan and it tells you that this space will be underwater and that's where you want to build your houses and shit like that, you fuck. It's something you shouldn't even invest in. There's a lot of things you gotta look at before you put your money into shit to kind of understand what you're dealing with. Because once you buy land, that's a multi-year plan. That's a 10, 15, 20 to 100-year plan. You know what I'm saying? So you got
right. You don't just up and buy some land.
Nah, you don't just up and buy shit. So you know, there's ways for him to crush on that, but I have never seen nobody do those. Not too many people that weren't on a certain level put that shit in effect. And from what I've seen from their development plan, I don't see none of that type of stuff involved. So what happens in Belize is whenever people come with big investments, there's an investor list that they send out white papers and information to see if you want to get in on the deal. You know, and like you look at what they're doing, their business plans, they're planning what it is, and you decide, I wouldn't even touch that shit with a 10-foot pole. You know, now if he was up in the jungle, you know, that's a different thing. You know, I would consider that. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know who's in the jungle? Francis Ford Coppola.
Really?
Yeah. We know the family well. They own one of the biggest resorts here in Belize. Well, it's a series of resorts. One is called Blancano up in the jungle. Another is on the beach called Turtle Inn. So that, you know, they've been here for many years, developing shit out, planning, and actually connecting their bloodlines with the people that's here. Generation of motherfuckers that's involved in their whole family planning structure and shit like that.
Right.
That look and talk the Belizean slang and shit like that. But they're married into the Coppola family, you know. Ian Fleming is down here.
Yeah.
Has a huge, the James Bond guy. They got
James
huge,
Bond dude.
Yeah, they got huge shit. So what you'll notice is that the white people that have sense that the queen ends up knighting and shit like that, most of them have jungle lodges. You know, they may have an island if it's something to just have fun at or whatever, but that's not their main investment at all. You know what I'm saying? If that's like your main investment here in Belize, it could be a secondary or a tertiary investment, but if it's your main shit, I feel sorry for you.
Okay, so I wanted to ask why did you pick the land why did you pick Belize versus somewhere on the continent to do what you're doing?
Because I knew the dollar was gonna fall. So I know what's gonna happen in Africa. See, the benefits of being in Africa at this time as an American expat is having US dollars to leverage against their economy. You understand? Now
but that's about to go away, right?
Now it's been going away. Now I served in AFRICOM for a number of years, and I've seen different shit when regime changes happen. I've been in Congo for some time, in and out. Remember, the Marines, we back up the UN forces and shit, and especially when they got to evacuate. So I've experienced a bunch of evacuation situations where I've actually seen what the fuck happened when the bottom falls out of shit. And I didn't want to be, it's not that I don't love black people, black culture, them big black, luscious, beautiful booties, the women, the you know what I'm saying, the music, you know what I'm saying, all of that type of shit.
Yeah.
It's just that as far as for continuity, that wasn't the place in the space, and it's just as much Africans here on the ground as it is over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, when it comes to just, you know, wanting to be around, you know, black folks and culture. Another thing is too, it's hard to travel around throughout Africa. When shit hits the fan, they get real snobby about their borders and shit, and all kinds of fucked up shit happens when you're trying to run from one place to another. All you got to do is look throughout history and read what happened in Ethiopia when the Sudanese was running from their genocides, and how they just sent them running back and diving in the waters with crocodiles and shit like that. They real shitty when it comes to friendliness across borders in a lot of areas. Not everywhere, but in a lot of areas. This is the devil I know. You know, I could travel, if it took me 6 months to walk from here to where you at, I could do it. You know what I'm saying? I know enough about this terrain. I know enough about how to get, interact, and function. So I had to go with what I know, being is that I didn't have the time to familiarize myself with all that extra complicated shit that's going on over there. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. I can appreciate that, Nancy, for sure.
So, what would be your advice to Black Americans here now those that do have the wherewithal and those that don't have the wherewithal to leave? First, those that do.
Those that do have the wherewithal, like, come on, start getting together, start your camping, start your training, start doing long exercises and getting with each other, because when you are stressed under the elements, when you have to deal with all different kinds of shit, it changes people, and you got to get to know who the fuck you gonna be rolling with now. You got to see them in all different types of situations and scenarios, because you might love them, man, but if you've never been with them in a certain scenario, there's no telling at how shit is going to play out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, don't take your relationship now while shit is cool and cozy for granted. Like, that's how it's going to be when shit is rough and tumble. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I can say. You know, it's people that you would never think stress out, break down, change their minds about shit. Just like the Matrix, that little motherfucker was eating a steak and was like, he was rolling with them hard. They could trust him, but he was like, yo, I miss the taste. I know it's not real, but I miss the taste of this motherfucker. That goes for a lot of people that you love and care for and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won't know until you are in environments and scenarios and doing training and camping and doing all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason why I big up a lot of the people, again, from Texas and the South, because they get together and they do their things and they camp out and they, you know, they test each other's metal and they, you know, they get in knockout, drag out fights and shit like that. And, you know, they know who the fuck they dealing with under those scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Like, but your brother could be your brother for life, y'all. And I'm just gonna tell you this. And when you get into them situations, or where I've seen it in Iraq, you know, or where like it's no food, or where motherfuckers use mind games and they take this little pretty girl and put her in a situation to make her feel like she better than everybody, and the type of information and shit she'll get just because she's fucking with the conqueror. Man, it's some deep shit that you got to deal with that we are like far from dealing with just talking about shit right now, because we're not testing our metal. You know what I'm saying? We're not putting ourselves in scenarios. We're not giving ourselves keywords and game plans on what to do. Like that movie Heat, when dude rolled up and his wife gave him the signal and he knew not to go up in there and shit. Like if you don't have that type of shit going on with your loved ones and your significant others and shit, and these kind of plans, you late. You need to put that shit together like tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and pick each other's minds and really study and shit like that. Now, for the ones who not with it, all I could say is, you know, just be prepared for the sex worker industry. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, whatever it is that you do, be prepared to service the conqueror. You know, you might figure out how to be the bootlegger that services them. But one of the things I will tell you is just make sure that you always in a position of where you valuable to their logistics and their happiness, because as soon as you're not, you know, they gonna bury you like everybody else. I've seen it done. You know what I'm saying? And your children, like, listen, look, in war, I expose, I'm looked at with a certain level of vibration by certain people in my families, because knowing what's coming, I make no bones about showing my children. I'm not talking about putting them through scenarios, but at least showing them situations that most people wouldn't show their children because of, you know, however they stand or they think it's too much for them. Now I'll show it to them and I let them know and I prepare them for shit, because it's better than me showing it to them in a movie or crossing the idea across their minds than it is for them to just be dealing with the shell shock and the stupefaction that happens on when your shit changes instantly and shit. At least they start thinking and kind of becoming ready. We sit down and talk about scenarios and shit like that, and I show them death. I tell them stories that happened when I was in combat, because I want them to know how they manipulate. You know, they manipulate the children. You understand? Like they manipulate them badly, and it was easy. Man, it's amazing how many kills we got under our belt with just a fucking Snicker bar and some M&Ms, dude.
Right.
You know, that's the only way I can put it in this short amount of time, if that makes sense, yo. You know, and the children ain't bad. They don't know no better. If you got them watching Rick and Morty, and if you got them valuing shit, well, they gonna use the reason why they want your children to value these things, because they gonna use that shit against you.
Right.
You know, whether it's a G.I. Joe doll, a Transformer, some candy, or whatever, values start at the home. And if you don't instill certain levels in your children, they're gonna fall for the okie doke. Just like your girl would on the street to the pimp. It's the same thing. It's a pimp and hoe game. It's just exopolitics, and you know what I'm saying? It's just a little bit more politically inclined and shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's still the same shit though, pimp and hoe. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's what it is. Prostitution is the oldest profession, because war has been here since it been two men on the planet challenging each other for the same space, same woman, same materials. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know, like, that's the kind of shit we gotta think about. Watch them dope ass samurai movies, watch them cowboy movies. Look at how the West carried itself, because that's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be very similar to the Wild Wild West out this motherfucker. Don't put a lot of value in store. Like, to start with, having stock is great, but skill is better. You know what I'm saying? I can make a bullet. You know what I'm saying? So it's
right.
Like, you know, but that's gonna always be more value than stock and bullets and shit like that, because like I said, you're gonna have to deal with the security factors. You're gonna have to deal with, you know, a lot of times if you store that shit, it has a shelf life.
Right. The ability, you know, it's more about the ability.
Yeah.
It's about the ability to defend and replenish.
Right. Look at the Native Americans. They was light as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at apex survivors. Study apex survivors. That's the way that I'll put it. Like the people that was really surviving that the white man was scared of. Study them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times the way that they roll is the optimal way to roll, because even the white man submitted to their type of warfare. You know, that's the kind of shit that we gotta be thinking about. We gotta be flowing. And love. Have a lot of love, man. Have a lot of interaction. Have a lot of exchange. Sit around the fire and use that shit. It's something mesmerizing about learning shit around a fire. It's deep. You know, it's mesmerizing being an old graybeard teaching youngin' shit around a fire. It's a deep mesmerization and a deep magic with that shit that instills and embeds shit that you'll never forget. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so it's like, it's reasons why we used to do shit and our ancestors used to, you know, run shit a certain way. But the biggest thing is that if you're not connected, if your connections is bad now, you're gonna have to start figuring out right now how to disassociate yourself from people, places, or things that is not gonna be part of your continuity and shit. You know, that's a big one.
I've been saying this. You need to start clanning up.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one, man. Like right now, you on the battlefield ain't the time to break up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know this shit is done and it's not, I'm talking about on any level. You gonna clan up or you gonna disperse? This is the time to do that shit right now. Stop fucking around, playing around with shit that you know is inevitable when your life is on the line. You know, and as I'm saying this shit, I'm seeing images of shit I've seen on the battlefield. Treachery that I've seen families do to each other, Muslim women in hijabs who supposed to be chaste and of a certain way turned out, you know what I'm saying, by 9-man MSOT teams and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to get a little, you know, bread and scrapings on the table, you know, for her and her babies and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that they don't like to talk to you about, and they like to act like it's not going on when shit hit the fan. But I mean, that's antiquity. That's human history. That's what it do. You know what I'm saying? Like them little shepherd girls and shit, them innocent shepherd girls that they show you out in the fields and shit in the social study books and shit, they was whores, dog. Because anytime a Roman phalanx will march through that shit, she would have to give it up. And that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit that we gotta wrap our minds around. Like, all of this beautiful, bright, lovely, plushy shit that they like to show us.
I watched this. Yeah, I still haven't seen Electric Dreams. I think I talked about the show before. But there's an episode. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I had cut out. Everybody had cut out. There's an episode where it's basically, let's say, 20 years in the future in America. Mm-hmm. And there's, most of it is like 15-minute cities, what they're calling 15-minute cities now. Everything is scanned, traced. Drones drop your food off all day. It's just ridiculous how much technology is going on. And they do it from a perspective of a kid and her mother. Now, the kid and the mother come from zones where they call them terrorists, but they're part of America too, but they didn't agree with the new arrangement. So their cities aren't as advanced. They're not consistently spied on all the time. They still have physical books that they choose to read out of and stuff like that. And they're playing, and the episode is basically they play the people that are in agreement with the technology and the new arrangement against the ones that didn't go with it. Right. And it bugs me out because it seems like this is where you head.
Oh, sure. Sure. I think there's a finite number.
The line gets drawn.
Yeah, there's a finite number of human movements, human possibilities, human attitudes, human interactions, and pretty soon you're gonna hit a wall where this shit's gonna repeat. Somebody gonna betray somebody. Somebody gonna use somebody. And that's why they say there's nothing new under the sun. This pit one against the other shit, bruh, since the beginning of goddamn time. They have been doing this shit. So I think as I kick Bruce's ass out of here, because I'm finna go in these last few minutes, if today's show has been about anything, it's been about diligence, about the ability to look shit in the face that you may not want to. You might not want to look at some of these people. You're going to have to fire out your life. Thunderbird, bam. Whop, pow. Wowzers. Do I believe that's going to be the dividing rod between people? The dids and the didn'ts. The dids are going to go one way. The didn'ts are going to go another. And it don't matter. Love ain't going to matter. Age, race. It ain't going to matter. You're going to have the dids and the didn'ts. You're going to deal with yourself if you did. You're going to deal with yourself if you didn't. But it is most definitely going to divide on the dids and didn'ts. And then the young and old. And then the have and have not. Where do you fit? How do you maneuver? How do you operate? How do you stay safe? I tell you one way. The way that makes the most sense to me. The way that will at least keep you in the middle of the lane. You got to stay high in thought. Stay high in deed. Pull out of the gravity of the stupid. Sisters, find your peace. Brothers, find your majesty. See Uncle Jeff. I'm out. Y'all be good. Treat one another good. Let love find a way.